Well, hey, welcome back. You got some coffee with Caden? That's me, yes, sir. All right, I did it. I ventured away. Got away from Starbucks. You're welcome. I'm pretty sure you can imitate this coffee anywhere you go. So, yeah, we're not. Man, fuck. F Starbs, you know? I ain't about that life no more. Nah, just playing. It's whatever. Today we have a... What is this? Caramel hazelnut mocha latte iced with no real caramel. Just the syrup, I believe. And oat milk. So, sticking with the oat milk. Thank God for a human being having oat milk. Wah, 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 wah. Pretty good, though. I did have a drink before I came here. It's a wee bit hot outside, so it was kind of nice to have a drink before I came. And it's iced. It's pretty good. Not gonna lie, it's probably one of my favorite drinks so far. Man, what a life, though. Today. What is today? Tuesday, March 26th. I had the day off from work. Nice, enjoying life. I went and had Thai food. Oh my God, it's so good. I had some chicken pad Thai with shrimp. I also had some other chicken thing with peanut sauce and some spring rolls with some peanut sauce. And their peanut sauce at this Thai restaurant, it was... Hold on, let me find out really quick. Because if you do live in the Reno, Sriracha, Reno, Nevada, or if you ever come to Reno... Why is my phone doing this? Hold on. I got this. Don't worry. It's not rotating. Okay, there we go. It is called Thai chili. Yep, really good. So the spring roll comes with this peanut sauce, and the peanut sauce is really good. It had I don't even know what's in the spring roll, but it's wrapped in vegetable, cabbage, something, and then it's got a little shrimp inside of it. But you pour this peanut sauce over the top and have, I did the peanut sauce and a little bit of chili on top. Oh my God. That was probably the best part of the meal. And that was just a little appetizer. Took my buddy's, Ruben's dad, to lunch because he's been helping me with all this traveling stuff, get ready. Dog's itching his ear. You can stop now. He's looking at me like he's all sad. Yeah, no. So we've been going back and forth on who buys lunch just because it's the nice, genuine thing to do. But I bought him lunch this time, and then we went to Sierra Trading Post, and I got some extra utensil stuff to travel with. I got a hammock, light hammock, a sleeping mat, a hand pump sleeping mat. What else did I get? Some collapsible waterproof bags for my clothes and my electronics and stuff while I'm traveling. What else did I get? I got some new socks, some smart wool socks. I tried looking for pants, couldn't find any. I tried looking for a jacket, couldn't find one. Couldn't find any boots. I wasn't expecting to find boots there, though. And, yeah. Some other miscellaneous things, carabiners. Yeah, it was pretty much it. And then, that was my morning. I had oatmeal this morning. I make my oatmeal with half an apple, a green apple, sometimes a red apple, but usually if it's a red apple, I use both slices, so the whole thing. If it's a green apple, I just do a half, and then a full banana, some cinnamon, crushed pecans, and dried cranberries. And typically have that every morning, so it's pretty good. I don't know if you guys notice anything different today, but this camera quality should be better. It's crazy. I'm watching my screen as I'm doing this, and it's got a face tracker, and it's like not letting me move. Ooh, I'm too fast for the face tracker. No, I'm just playing. I got my new camera in. Yeah. Thanks to Kendall. I'm going to start taking more pictures of myself. I'm probably going to go do that right after this. It's a Canon 6D with a Sigma 35 millimeter lens. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Not going to lie. It's very high quality camera. Spent a pretty penny on it, but I think it's worth it. I took pictures of my dog the very first night I got it on my couch, and they were probably the best pictures I've ever taken. And they were like, I mean, still fairly shitty because I'm not a photographer, but I will get to learning how to shoot photography, right? No, so, but they seriously were like some of the best photos I've ever taken. So if you ever want to spend like $3,000 on a camera and lens, this is your best bet. Yeah. At least from what I know, because the camera I had before this was not near this quality, but hey, it is what it is. Regardless, what was I gonna? Today is a touchy subject. I'm gonna go ahead and say that right now. I apologize if I offended anybody. This is my personal preferences. This is my personal thoughts. So if you don't like it, kindly keep negative comments to yourself and just look at it as a general observation of how I think this way. You know what I mean? It is what it is. How do my eyebrows look? I just pluck them. I also cut my hair. Hopefully my haircut isn't too messed up. So this side's a little wonky. It's not wonky. It's just harder to cut my hair on the sides that lay down. I don't know if you guys would ever want to see that, but I do cut my own hair. So if that's something you guys would want to see the process of, by all means, throw a comment in there. I'll make a video just for the hell of it. All right, into the nitty gritty. Religion. Touchy subject, I know. But I do think it's something that we should talk about. I've actually taken a couple courses in college about religion and like how they came about, how certain religions came about, how they have developed over the years, the basic storylines of how they happened, from Christianity to Hinduism to Buddhism to Islam. Everything. I don't know all of them to a T, so correct me if I'm wrong on anything, but it's kind of crazy the way that religion is portrayed in society now. I think the biggest thing is that it's used more as a tool than a resource, and that's not something I necessarily like, because they use that tool to kind of manipulate people into believing a certain way, especially when it comes to Christianity. I'm probably going to be talking the most about Christianity because that's what I grew up with and what I know the most about. So there's things with Christianity that I do not necessarily agree with. I think the basic concepts of religion are very good. I think it's a great thing to want to be a better person and help your community and help thy neighbor, right? But it's also used as a way to kind of harm people and hinder them and make them less of people in society, and I don't like that about it. That, to me, when it comes to religion, is the hardest part. It makes no sense to me, because we're all supposed to be a family and a community, all one nation, or not, I don't want to say one nation under God, but one community under God, right? Or God's, whatever you believe in. But when you're sitting here constructing an idea and fitting it to what you believe in, that's where it's wrong. Because especially when it comes to Christianity, it's about being a better person. It has nothing to do with, oh, you have to follow this way or you're not a follower of Christ. That's not how Christianity works. It's, in reality, that's not it, you know? But the basic concepts of it is that you should be looking at how you can improve your life to be a better person, but also potentially helping other people be better people. You know what I mean? So like the goal of Christianity as a whole is to create a more well-rounded society that everyone kind of cares for each other and looks after each other and this and that, right? And that's the point of Christianity, in my opinion. But it's used as a way to, and I believe this with any religion, to radicalize people. And I talked to a friend about what is radicalization, like what is it in a whole, like why, like you could be radicalized for anything. Like you're in a gym group, they could radicalize you to be this big fitness freak, whatever, right? So it can, or college, I mean, look at fraternities. They can radicalize you to follow their beliefs and their norms, right? So radicalization is a very bold term to use. But in reality, that's kind of what happens, because for years people are like, if you do this, you're a sinner and God won't accept you. And that's not even close to what Christianity is as a whole at all, which is kind of crazy, because people will sit there and swear by God that you won't be sent to heaven if you think this way or live your life this way or whatever, right? Hold on, let me get some coffee. I feel like I've been talking really, really fast. But yeah, it's a hard subject to talk about, obviously. I grew up, I would say, in a very Christian home. I wasn't forced to go to church, but it was like, hey, like, let's go to church on Sunday, right? And then I've grown to enjoy church because I feel like I've met a lot of good people in church, and that's one of the best parts about it. And then I've strayed away from church, and then I got back, and then strayed away again. That was the last time I've strayed away from it, was because of COVID. Not necessarily something I wanted to do, but I also didn't want to go to a church packed with people during COVID. Plus, they shut down. So yeah, it was just hard to keep up with religion. But as you've seen with like the Bible and the way the Bible's been manipulated and developed in new years, because the new text is not something you should study. If you are a Christian, it's easier to read. That's the thing. But if you want to have the true understanding of what Christianity is, you need to read the old text. And technically, I think the first text was in Hebrew. I'm not 100% sure. So like I said, if I'm wrong on anything, don't attack me. It was an apology. Like, that's an apology right there. I'm sorry. I'm not master of all knowledge, of wisdom. You know, I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I do have an understanding of some things. So let's take one example. And this one I think is the biggest one, because for years everybody's like, if you're gay, you're a sinner and you can't go to heaven because God doesn't agree with gay people, because for whatever reason that's their political beliefs or whatever, and they used religion as a way to make people believe that, like, hey, if I'm gay, I'm not allowed to go to heaven. I think it scares some kids. I think it is wrong, and it's because the new text does say a man should not lay with another man. Well, guess what? That's not what the original Bible even said. It says a man should not lay with another boy. Basically, the concept of it was, hey, like, pedophilia is wrong and we're going to shun you for it forever and you're not going to make it to heaven. And I believe that. I think pedophilia is wrong. So that makes sense, but I don't give a shit who you love as long as it's correct, you know? Like, a man can lay with another man. A woman can lay with another woman. I do not care. I don't think anybody should care, because guess what? It doesn't affect your freaking life, you dummy. So if you do care about that, please kindly fuck off. Yeah. But that's just my thought process of it. I know it's very crazy to think that way, but who would have thought, you know, like, just being a good human being is so frowned upon. And this goes for a lot of different ideas and stuff like that. And they're just like, they'll use it and manipulate it, and they'll take the words that they want to say and use it as a way to make you feel like you're doing something wrong. In reality, you're probably not. And that's what I don't like about religion. But I've been to some very good churches. I really have. And I don't think that the basis of church is yes, it is about teaching like the word of God, but I do think that like a Christian church, the biggest benefit of it is helping people in a sense that like, hey, we're all kind of going through some of the same things. And if we are going through some of the same things, and say a pastor is talking to me about addiction or whatever, and you're like, this guy's a pastor. How can he have ever suffered with addiction, or somebody close to him has ever suffered with addiction or had such a bad upbringing or whatever? You can relate to stuff like that and realize like, hey, I can make it out of here and I can get better. And I think religion has helped a lot of people with addiction. So I think it's a very, very good tool. But I'm not saying it's the only tool. But so I went to Grace here in Reno before COVID. I went there for a little while. I do love the church. They have a good little coffee bar too. I like that too. It's kind of a bonus. It's an hour out of your day. You feel good as a person afterwards, and then you kind of clear your mind about things. And that's a good thing about it, is you do clear your mind and open up, and you're like really self-evaluating like, hey, what's going on? How do I fix these things that are a problem? And Grace is really good about helping communities. From my understanding, I think so. I think they do a really good job at trying to make sure that it's not necessarily about being about God. It's about being a good person. And that's, to me, that's the basics of any religion, is just being a good person, right? And since I was there, they were throwing in a pool of money for, and this goes away from the proceeds that go to the church, because obviously they have to fund the church to put the lights on and stuff like that, which that's a whole other topic I don't really want to talk about. But they were taking a separate donation, and this was specifically for, what was it for? It was for an apartment complex. But it was an apartment complex for like homeless people and people that can't necessarily take care of themselves and need to just get on their feet. And I understand, as a homeless person, it is hard to be able to get into a job, go to an interview if you don't look clean, if you don't dress right, if you don't have the tools to be able to excel yourself in front of somebody else, if you guys are both applying for a job. Yeah, there's some people that just don't want to work. That's fine, whatever. But I do think that everybody that's not working, whether you're working or not, you're homeless, whatever. Flash, please don't hit that. Hi, buddy. Come here. Sit. Here's a good boy. He's sitting next to me. He just wanted to sit next to me because he loves me. I do believe people, like, a basic necessity of life is being able to have shelter. I think that is a necessity, just like how food and water should be. But, hey, that's just me thinking crazy again, right? And everybody should have water and food and a place to live, right? Crazy, I know. But they are helping people. And the thing is like, if they give these people the tools to do better, they'll realize like, hey, I don't need to live off of this apartment complex anymore, and somebody else deserves this spot more than I do. Once they have their feet their feet on the ground, they're established, they have money flowing in, and they can go get a place of their own. Everybody wants to have a place of their own. That's a goal of life, right? And Grace has built this apartment complex. It probably was hindered a little bit because of COVID, but they're having this apartment complex built, and they're going to house a bunch of people. I don't know how many people in total, but it's better. One person being housed is better than no people, right? So they did a really good thing about that, and I think it's really good that they can kind of develop something to get people back on their feet, right? Well, that's the best parts about religion. I think that they are a good community aspect of things. Like, I mean, Grace does annual cleanups for the community. I'm not saying every church does that, but a lot of them do. I think they do try and do a community outreach to try and get people in a sense of making where they live a better place to live, right? What are my dogs doing? They're just happy-go-lucky today, I guess. Yeah, no, I think, like I said, I think religion has a very, very good perks, right? If you walk over there, please do not hit my camera. I just told them how expensive it is. That freaking butthead, dude. I told him not to hit it, and he did. Oh, and then he just sits back and looks at me. If you could see his face right now, you guys would probably cry, because he's the cutest thing in the world. I love him. I love both my dogs, actually. They're both just staring at me right now, though. Anyways, but religion as a whole is kind of wild, because people are like, oh, you can't think this way because that religion's wrong, or you can't think this way because that religion's wrong. The funny thing is, after studying religion, they all are pretty much the exact same thing. They all believe in being a better person and being a better person to the people that are around you. And I think it's a great concept. Obviously, we should be better people. You should always strive to be a better person. And you should always strive to be better for your community, because we are one under this planet. I mean, there's obviously millions and millions of planets around the galaxies, the millions of galaxies, however many there is. So we should all be happy to live together and live with each other and next to each other or whatever, right? But the thing is not everybody thinks that way, which is sad. I mean, yeah, there's people I don't like, but if they were struggling, I don't think that I would want them to struggle, you know? Like, I don't sit there and be like, oh, yeah, I'm so happy this person's struggling. I'm like, damn, that sucks. I wish I could help you more. I mean, there's some people in this planet I don't believe should be here, but that's because they're like rapists and stuff, but that's just gross and terrible. But it's funny because, like, you take all of the stories, because that's what they are, is stories being told. But that's anything. That's a book. Like, if you're reading a book, you're reading a story from somebody else. You're learning knowledge from these stories, right? And yes, you have people following Jesus around, according to the Bible, and telling these stories from what they saw. And that's basically what the Bible is all these stories combined together. The funny thing is, these stories are also in I don't even know what the books are. But like Buddhism, Hinduism, these stories also fall into stories like that. So like there is this higher being, and then he or she is, in a sense, like the most appreciated. How do I word this? So like what, as a human being, what you should want to be. That is what Buddha is, or Jesus is, whatever, right? Like, you should strive to be like that person, because all it is just somebody who's really good at being a good person. That's bottom line. That's what it is. And all these stories pretty much follow the same thing. Like, whether it is like just any of the stories, right? So like if somebody's telling a story this way with the Bible, and they go and tell a story very similar in the book, like a Buddhism book. God, I need to know these things before I start. Whatever. I'm sorry if I offended you, but their book, typically the stories are pretty similar. And the bottom line is, like, if you portray yourself to be this good person and strive to be this better person, I will help you in the long run with whatever you're struggling with. And I think that's what the basics of any religion is like, if you try to be a better person, in the end, it'll come back and help you in the long run, and you will be a better person for God or whatever higher power you believe in. And that's religion as a whole to me. I think it's just basically just how can you be a better person, and also for not only for yourself, but everybody that's around you. So I think religion is a good aspect. And the biggest thing that I've learned over the years is, and I know everybody says you're not supposed to do this, but I think you should question your religion. I think you should question what your preacher's telling you. Because if you're not questioning it, you're not learning anything. You're just agreeing with every single thing that they've said. And I've had some really bad pastors that I've gone to church to, and they're just like, you follow this way, and if you don't, you're a bad person. I'm like, that's ridiculous. That literally makes no sense. If you don't donate, you're a terrible person. That is stupid. It's really dumb. I don't think Jesus is sitting there like, hey, if you don't give me $10, I'm not letting you into heaven. No, that's not how that works. This is simply not how it works. But yeah, I think religion is good for everybody. Not everybody. For the people that want to put it into their lives, but I think it is okay to question religion. I think it is okay to worry about whether it's something that's good for you and your family and whatever. And I think the big thing with religion is like, if I'm growing up, right, and I have my parents telling me like, hey, you have to go to church, you have to follow this religion. A lot of the times the kids don't want to go to church. The kids don't want to follow that religion. You parent your kids however you want. But from me, I was able to go to church if I wanted to. And I used to go to church 3 times a week. And then there was times where I never went to church. And my mom, she was like, whatever. Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to get mad at you for not going to church. But my religion's helped my mom a ton. It's helped me a ton. But it's also sometimes I feel like hurt me a little bit. But that's just my take from it. I know I kind of didn't get too controversial. I don't think so. I think I was pretty well rounded. So if there's anything that I feel like, or you feel like I did wrong, DM me on Twitter and I'll fix it for the next time. But I probably won't talk about religion again for a while. But in reality, I think if you look at it, we are all very similar in every cultural aspect. We just tend to think that we're not. And that's why we have so much hatred towards other cultures and religions. And it's sad. But at the end of the day, just be a good person. And I think life will go the way it's supposed to. Well, let me know how you guys like the coffee if you try it. Caramel, hazelnut, mocha with oat milk. Oat milk always. Oat milk always. Thanks for coming. I'll see you in like a week or so. Whatever. Love you. Bye.